Welcome to the thriving underworld of New York City in 2023, where power, honor, and treachery play out in the shadows. Prepare to be enthralled as I delve deep into the captivating saga of Mafia families ruling New York in 2023. Witness the fierce rivalries, clandestine operations, and larger-than-life personalities that define the city's criminal landscape. Brace yourself for an immersive journey into a world where loyalty and betrayal walk hand in hand. Are you ready to discover the secrets that lie beneath the surface? Let's dive in. The Bonanno crime family. The Bonanno crime family has a long and notorious history of engaging in various criminal activities, solidifying their reputation as one of the most powerful and feared mafia families in New York City in 2023. One of the primary sources of income for the Bonanno family has been racketeering. They have been involved in extorting businesses, labor unions, and individuals for protection money. Through intimidation and violence, they have established a stranglehold on various industries, ensuring a steady stream of illicit profits. Illegal gambling has also been a lucrative venture for the Bonanno family. They have operated underground casinos, bookmaking operations, and sports betting rings, raking in millions of dollars in illicit gambling revenue. Their involvement in the gambling industry has allowed them to expand their influence and control over other criminal enterprises. Drug trafficking has been another major source of income for the Bonanno family. They have been involved in smuggling and distributing illegal drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. Their extensive network of connections has allowed them to import drugs from various parts of the world and distribute them throughout the United States. The Bonanno family has also engaged in money laundering, a process of disguising the origins of illegally obtained funds. They have used legitimate businesses, such as restaurants, construction companies, and nightclubs, to launder their illicit proceeds. By funneling dirty money through legitimate channels, they have been able to legitimize their criminal earnings. However, this crime family didn't start now. The history and origins of the Bonanno crime family can be traced back to the late 19th century when Salvatore Maranzano, an Italian immigrant, founded the organization. Maranzano, a skilled and ambitious leader, established the family as one of the dominant forces in the criminal underworld of New York City. But it was Joseph Bonanno who would later lend his name to the family and become one of its most influential leaders. Born in Castellammare del Golfo, Sicily, Bonanno immigrated to the United States in the early 1900s. He quickly rose through the ranks of the Mafia, displaying a shrewd business sense and a knack for leadership. Under Bonanno's guidance, the family flourished and expanded its operations. They engaged in various criminal activities, including bootlegging during the Prohibition era, which brought them immense wealth and power. Bonanno's leadership style emphasized loyalty and respect, and he was known for his ability to unite different factions within the family. The Bonanno family's rise to prominence was not without its challenges. In the 1930s, a power struggle known as the Castellammare War erupted between different mafia factions, seeking control over the lucrative bootlegging trade. This conflict resulted in the deaths of several prominent mobsters, including Maranzano, who was assassinated in 1931. Amidst the chaos, Joseph Bonanno emerged as a key figure, successfully navigating the treacherous waters of the Mafia. He formed alliances with other crime families, such as the Gambino and Genovese families, solidifying the Bonanno family's position as one of the most powerful organizations in New York City. Throughout the mid-20th century, the Bonanno family continued to thrive under Bonanno's leadership. They expanded their criminal enterprises, including illegal gambling, loan sharking, and labor racketeering. The family's influence extended beyond New York City, with operations in New Jersey, South Florida, Arizona, Las Vegas, and Northern California. However, the 1960s brought significant challenges to the Bonanno family. In 1963, the infamous Valachi hearings exposed the inner workings of the Mafia, including the Bonanno family. Joseph Valachi, a former member turned government informant, provided crucial testimony that led to the conviction of numerous mobsters. The Valachi hearings marked a turning point for the Bonanno family and the entire Mafia. Law enforcement agencies intensified their efforts to dismantle organized crime, leading to the downfall of many high-ranking members. Joseph Bonanno himself faced legal troubles and eventually retired from active leadership in the family. Following Bonanno's retirement, a series of power struggles and internal conflicts plagued the family. Various factions vied for control, resulting in violence and instability. The 1970s and 1980s were particularly tumultuous for the Bonanno family, with several high-profile murders and indictments. One of the most significant events in the family's history occurred in the 1980s when FBI agent Joseph Pistone, operating undercover as Donnie Brasco, infiltrated the Bonanno family. Pistone's infiltration provided unprecedented insight into the inner workings of the Mafia, leading to the conviction of numerous members. Despite these challenges, the Bonanno family managed to rebuild and regain their seat on the Commission, the governing body of the Mafia families. Under the leadership of Joseph Massino, the family experienced a resurgence in the late 1990s and early 2000s, becoming the most powerful mafia family in New York City. However, Massino's reign came to an abrupt end when he became the first boss of one of the 5 families to cooperate with the government. His decision to become a government informant sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld and further weakened the Bonanno family. In recent years, the Bonanno family has faced numerous legal challenges and internal conflicts. Many of its members have been arrested and convicted, leading to a decline in their power and influence. The family's current position is led by Michael Mancuso, who is serving time in prison, with Joseph Camerano Jr. as the acting boss. Despite the setbacks, the Bonanno crime family remains a formidable force in the criminal underworld. In addition to their criminal activities, the Bonanno family has formed alliances with other crime families, both within New York City and beyond. These alliances have provided them with additional resources, protection, and opportunities for collaboration. One of their notable alliances is with the Cotroni crime family based in Montreal, Canada. The Bonanno family has had a long-standing relationship with the Cotroni family, particularly through their involvement in the drug trade. This alliance has allowed them to expand their operations and establish a presence in Canada. The Colombo crime family. In the seedy underbelly of New York City, where fortunes are won and lost in the blink of an eye, the Colombo crime family has long held a tight grip on the world of illegal gambling. The Colombo crime family, the youngest of the 5 families, was formed in 1928 by Joseph Profaci and has since established itself as a dominant force in the city's underworld. From backroom poker games to high-stakes sports betting, their involvement in this lucrative underworld enterprise has been just one facet of their extensive criminal empire. This is how they've maintained their status all these years. The Colombo family's foray into illegal gambling is just a glimpse into their wide-ranging portfolio of criminal activities. Arms trafficking, arson, assault, bribery, drug trafficking, extortion, fraud, money laundering, murder, and racketeering are just some of the many crimes they have been involved in. Their criminal empire is built on a foundation of violence, corruption, and illicit dealings. Under the leadership of Joseph Profaci, the Colombo family recognized the immense profits to be made from illegal gambling. Profaci established a network of illicit gambling operations that spanned across the city, intertwining with their other criminal enterprises. From hidden speakeasies to secret gambling dens, the Colombo family's reach extended far and wide, allowing them to amass vast wealth and power. One of their most notorious ventures was their involvement in illegal sports betting. With their connections to bookmakers and corrupt officials, the Colombos were able to manipulate the odds and fix the outcomes of sporting events, ensuring massive profits for themselves. From boxing matches to horse races, they controlled the outcomes, leaving bettors and legitimate businesses at their mercy. Their gambling empire extended beyond traditional sports betting. The Colombo family also dabbled in underground casinos, offering a haven for high rollers and gamblers looking for an adrenaline-fueled escape from the prying eyes of the law. These establishments, hidden in plain sight, operated under the protection of the family, ensuring that their profits flowed uninterrupted. In the shadows of New York City, the Colombo crime family continues to operate, albeit with a diminished presence compared to its heyday. The family's current members, a mix of high-ranking officials and soldiers, form the backbone of their criminal operations and ensure the family's continued existence within the city's underworld. At the helm of the Colombo crime family is Robert D'Onofrio, the acting boss. D'Onofrio, a seasoned mobster, has taken on the responsibility of leading the family in the absence of a permanent boss. His role involves making crucial decisions, overseeing the family's operations, and maintaining the family's influence and power. Assisting D'Onofrio is Benjamin Benji Castellazzo, the underboss of the Colombo family. Castellazzo, a trusted and respected figure within the family, acts as the second-in-command, providing guidance and support to D'Onofrio. His role involves managing the family's day-to-day affairs, ensuring the smooth operation of their criminal enterprises, and maintaining the loyalty of the family's soldiers. Ralph Big Ralphie Di Matteo serves as the consigliere of the Colombo family. Di Matteo, a trusted advisor and confidant, provides counsel to the leadership and acts as a mediator in disputes within the family. His role is crucial in maintaining the family's unity and resolving conflicts that may arise. The soldiers of the Colombo crime family form the backbone of their criminal operations. These individuals, loyal to the family and willing to carry out orders, are involved in various illicit activities, including extortion, loan sharking, illegal gambling, and more. While their names may not be widely known, their actions and loyalty contribute to the family's continued existence and influence. But the Colombo family's involvement in illegal gambling isn't just limited to traditional casino games. They also had their hands in the world of illegal lotteries, where unsuspecting individuals would place their bets in the hopes of striking it rich. These underground lotteries, often run by family associates, provided a steady stream of income for the Colombo family, who took a cut of every ticket sold. Their control over the gambling scene wasn't without its challenges. Rival gangs and law enforcement agencies were constantly vying for a piece of the lucrative pie. The Colombo family had to navigate treacherous waters, using their connections and muscles to protect their interests. They employed enforcers and strong-arm tactics to ensure that those who crossed them faced dire consequences. The family's involvement in illegal gambling also extended to online platforms. As technology advanced, so did their criminal enterprises. The Colombo family embraced the digital age, setting up online gambling operations that allowed them to reach a wider audience and rake in even greater profits. These online platforms provided a veil of anonymity, making it difficult for law enforcement to track their activities. Despite the constant threat of law enforcement crackdowns and rival gang interference, the Colombo family's grip on the illegal gambling scene remained firm. Their ability to adapt to changing times and exploit new opportunities ensured their continued dominance in this high-stakes game. Behind the scenes of the Colombo crime family's outward facade of power and control lies a history marred by internal wars and power struggles. The Colombo crime family witnessed a series of major internal wars that shaped its history and reputation. The first conflict erupted in the late 1950s when Joe Gallo and his brothers revolted against the leadership of Joseph Profaci, triggering a violent clash over profits and power. This war ended with Gallo's arrest and Profaci's death from cancer. Under Joseph Colombo's rule, the family briefly experienced peace, but a second war broke out in 1971, pitting Colombo supporters against the remaining Gallo crew. Carmine Persico emerged victorious, leading to a period of stability. However, in 1991, a third and bloodiest war occurred, with Victor Orena challenging Persico's leadership. This internal strife weakened the family, but it continued to maintain its presence in the criminal underworld. Even in recent years, the Colombo crime family has faced a barrage of challenges and convictions that have threatened their once untouchable empire. Law enforcement agencies have relentlessly pursued the family, resulting in high-profile arrests, trials, and the unraveling of their criminal operations. One of the major challenges faced by the Colombo family has been the introduction of the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act in 1970. This powerful tool allowed law enforcement to target entire criminal organizations, including the Colombo family, by holding them accountable for a wide range of criminal activities. The RICO Act enabled prosecutors to dismantle the family's hierarchy and expose their illicit operations. The Colombo family's reputation has also suffered as a result of these challenges and convictions. Once considered one of the most powerful and feared mafia families, they are now viewed as weakened and vulnerable. Their status as the weakest of the five families, as of 2011, shows the toll that these challenges have taken on their criminal empire. The Genovese crime family. The Genovese crime family, also known as the West Side, has a rich and intriguing history that dates back to the early days of organized crime in America. Founded by Charles Lucky Luciano, one of the most influential mob bosses of his time, the family was later named after Vito Genovese, a prominent figure within the organization. Throughout its history, the Genovese crime family has maintained its position as one of the most powerful and influential mafia organizations in New York and the United States. Their ability to adapt to changing times, their strict adherence to no snitching, and their connections with other mob families have allowed them to persevere and thrive in the world of organized crime. From racketeering to murder, labor union infiltration to extortion, illegal gambling to drug trafficking, the Genovese family has left an indelible mark on the criminal underworld. Racketeering has been a cornerstone of the Genovese family's criminal enterprises. They have been involved in various forms of illegal activities, such as loan sharking, illegal gambling operations, and extortion. Through their control of labor unions, they have been able to exploit workers and businesses alike, ensuring a steady stream of illicit profits. Murder has long been a tool used by the Genovese family to eliminate rivals, maintain control, and send a chilling message to those who dare to cross them. From high-ranking mobsters to low-level associates, anyone perceived as a threat to the family's power has been targeted for elimination. These ruthless acts of violence have helped the family establish dominance and instill fear in their adversaries. Labor union infiltration has been a key strategy employed by the Genovese family to exert control over various industries. By placing their associates in influential positions within unions, they have been able to manipulate labor negotiations, secure lucrative contracts and siphon off funds for their benefit. This infiltration has allowed the family to expand their influence and generate significant wealth. Extortion has been another lucrative source of income for the Genovese family. They have used their reputation for violence and intimidation to extort money from businesses, individuals, and even other criminal organizations. Failure to comply with their demands often results in severe consequences, including physical harm or destruction of property. Illegal gambling has long been a profitable enterprise for the Genovese family. They have operated underground casinos, sports betting operations, and other gambling establishments, both in New York City and beyond. Their involvement in this illicit industry has allowed them to amass vast fortunes while evading law enforcement. Drug trafficking has also played a significant role in the Genovese family's criminal activities. They have been involved in the distribution of various illicit substances, including cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. Through their extensive network of connections, they have been able to smuggle drugs into the country, distribute them on the streets, and reap enormous profits. The Genovese family's involvement in these criminal enterprises has allowed them to accumulate immense wealth and power. Their ability to adapt to changing times and exploit new opportunities has ensured their continued success in the face of law enforcement efforts to dismantle their operations. The roots of the Genovese family can be traced back to the Castellammarese War, a power struggle between rival mafia factions in the 1930s. It was during this turbulent period that Luciano emerged as a key player, uniting various criminal groups under his leadership. With the formation of the five families and the establishment of the Commission, Luciano laid the foundation for the modern American mafia. Vito Genovese, a trusted associate of Luciano, played a significant role in the family's early years. Born in Italy in 1897, Genovese immigrated to the United States as a young man and quickly became involved in criminal activities. He rose through the ranks, earning a reputation for his ruthlessness and strategic thinking. After Luciano's imprisonment in 1936, Genovese assumed control of the family as the acting boss. However, his reign was short-lived as he was forced to flee to Italy in 1937 to avoid prosecution for murder charges. Despite his absence, Genovese maintained his influence over the family through his connections and continued involvement in criminal enterprises. During Genovese's time in Italy, Frank Costello took over as the acting boss of the family. Costello was a skilled and charismatic leader who managed to maintain stability within the organization. However, Genovese's desire to regain control led to a power struggle that would have far-reaching consequences. In 1957, Genovese orchestrated the infamous Appalachian Meeting, a gathering of mob bosses from across the country. The meeting was intended to solidify his position as the head of the family and assert his dominance over the other bosses. However, the event was raided by law enforcement, leading to the arrest of numerous high-ranking mobsters and exposing the existence of the Mafia to the public. Genovese's ambitions ultimately led to his downfall. In 1959, he was convicted of drug trafficking charges and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Although imprisoned, Genovese continued to exert influence over the family, making important decisions through his trusted associates. The Genovese family faced a period of uncertainty following Genovese's imprisonment. However, the leadership vacuum was eventually filled by Vincent the Chin Gigante, a charismatic and eccentric figure who would become one of the most notorious bosses in the family's history. Gigante's reign was marked by his feigned insanity, a strategy he employed to evade law enforcement and protect his criminal activities. He would often wander the streets of New York City in a bathrobe, mumbling to himself and pretending to be mentally unstable. This act earned him the nickname the Odd Father and allowed him to operate in the shadows for many years. After Gigante's death in 2005, the family went through a period of transition. It is believed that Liborio Barney Bellomo is the current boss, leading the family into the 21st century. Behind the scenes, the Genovese family employed a system of front bosses and ruling panels to shield the true leader from scrutiny. Front bosses, also known as figureheads, would publicly assume the role of the family's leader, deflecting attention away from the real power behind the scenes. This strategy allowed the true leader to operate discreetly and minimize the risk of prosecution. Ruling panels were another crucial component of the family's leadership structure. These panels consisted of high-ranking members who collectively made important decisions for the family. By distributing power among multiple individuals, the family ensured that no single person held too much control, reducing the risk of betrayal or infiltration by law enforcement. The true leader of the Genovese family remained hidden, protected by the front bosses and ruling panels. This individual would wield ultimate authority and make critical decisions that shaped the family's operations. Their identity and involvement in criminal activities properties would be carefully guarded, ensuring their safety and the continuity of the family's operations. From their humble beginnings to their rise to dominance, the Genovese family has built an empire based on racketeering, murder, labor, union infiltration, extortion, illegal gambling, and drug trafficking. The Lucchese crime family. The Lucchese crime family, one of the most notorious and influential organized crime families in New York City, has a rich and intriguing history that dates back to the early 1920s. From racketeering to robbery, drug trafficking to murder, the Lucchese family has left a trail of devastation and fear in their wake. They've managed to stay on top for years due to the type of crimes they commit. One of the major crimes associated with the Lucchese crime family is racketeering. Racketeering involves the operation of illegal businesses or enterprises, often through the use of intimidation, violence, and bribery. The Lucchese family has been involved in various forms of racketeering, including labor racketeering, where they exert control over unions in industries such as garment manufacturing, food distribution, airport services, and construction. By controlling these unions, the Lucchese family was able to manipulate labor markets, extort businesses, and generate significant profits. Another major crime associated with the Lucchese crime family is robbery. The family has been involved in high-profile heists, targeting both trucks and airplanes. In the city's garment district, the Lucchese family orchestrated numerous truck heists, stealing valuable merchandise and extorting businesses. Additionally, they targeted airplanes arriving at airports, such as Idlewild Airport, stealing jewels, imports, and currency. These daring robberies not only brought the family immense wealth, but also instilled fear in their victims and the general public. Drug trafficking is yet another major crime that the Lucchese crime family has been involved in. They have played a significant role in the distribution and sale of illegal drugs, particularly in the New York City area. The family's involvement in drug trafficking extends to various substances, including cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. Through their extensive criminal network, the Lucchese family was able to smuggle and distribute drugs, reaping enormous profits from this illicit trade. Murder has also been a prevalent crime associated with the Lucchese crime family. The family has a reputation for resorting to violence to protect their interests and eliminate rivals or individuals who pose a threat to their operations. One of the most notorious instances of murder associated with the Lucchese family was the infamous Lufthansa heist in 1978. The heist, which involved the theft of over $5 million from a Lufthansa plane, resulted in multiple murders to ensure the silence of those involved. Extortion and bribery are additional crimes that the Lucchese crime family has engaged in. They have used these tactics to exert control over businesses, politicians, and even law enforcement. By leveraging their criminal influence, the Lucchese family has been able to extort money from businesses in exchange for protection or to secure lucrative contracts. They have also bribed politicians and members of the judiciary to ensure favorable outcomes in legal proceedings or to avoid prosecution. Money laundering is yet another major crime associated with the Lucchese crime family. They have been involved in complex schemes to conceal the origins of their illicit proceeds and integrate them into legitimate businesses or investments. Money laundering allows the family to legitimize their criminal wealth and further expand their criminal enterprises. The Lucchese crime family's involvement in these major crimes has allowed them to amass enormous wealth and power. Their criminal activities have had far-reaching consequences, not only impacting the individuals directly involved, but also the communities in which they operate. But they didn't start now. The family's origins can be traced to the Morello crime family, a street gang that operated in the Italian enclave of Harlem. Led by the Sicilian-born Giuseppe Morello, the gang laid the foundation for what would eventually become the Lucchese crime family. Giuseppe Morello, known as the Clutch Hand, was a formidable figure in the criminal underworld. He established a network of criminal activities, including extortion, gambling, and bootlegging, which laid the groundwork for the future success of the Lucchese family. Morello's influence extended beyond Harlem as he formed alliances with other criminal organizations, solidifying his power and expanding his criminal empire. However, it was Gaetano Reina, a trusted member of the Morello gang, who would ultimately take control and transform the organization into the Lucchese crime family. Reina, known as Tommy, was a savvy and strategic leader who avoided unnecessary conflicts with rival gangs, focusing instead on dominating the lucrative bootlegging scene during the Prohibition era. Under Reina's leadership, the Lucchese crime family flourished, establishing itself as a powerful force in the criminal underworld. Reina's ability to maintain peace with other gangs allowed the Lucchese family to expand its criminal activities activities, including racketeering, gambling, and labor union control. Following Reina's assassination in 1930, Tommy Gagliano assumed leadership of the Lucchese family. Gagliano, a shrewd and secretive boss, understood the importance of staying out of the public eye. He rarely appeared in public, preferring to operate from the shadows, while his trusted lieutenant, Gaetano Tommy Brown Lucchese, took on a more visible role within the organization. Gagliano and Lucchese led the Lucchese crime family into new areas of criminal enterprise, particularly within the clothing and trucking industries. They recognized the profitability of these sectors and capitalized on their control over unions, ensuring their influence extended far beyond the realm of organized crime. Secrecy and privacy were key to the success of the Lucchese crime family. Gagliano's reclusive nature allowed him to avoid unnecessary attention, while Lucchese, a more prominent figure, acted as the public face of the organization. This careful balance ensured the family's operations remained hidden from law enforcement and rival gangs. The Lucchese crime family's power and influence continued to grow throughout the 1930s and 1940s. They solidified their relationships with powerful politicians, including Mayor William O'Dwyer and Vincent Impellitteri, as well as judges who provided them with protection and leniency in the legal system. Today, the Lucchese crime family continues to be a force to be reckoned with, led by Victor Amuso, who is serving a life sentence in prison. The family's criminal activities extend beyond New York City, with additional territory in New Jersey, South Florida, and Las Vegas. They remain involved in various criminal enterprises, including drug trafficking, extortion, and money laundering. Despite numerous arrests, convictions, and the turning of many family members into informants, the Lucchese crime family has managed to persevere and adapt. Their ability to navigate the criminal justice system, maintain loyalty within their ranks, and exploit weaknesses in law enforcement has allowed them to continue their criminal operations. The Lucchese crime family's legacy as one of the most powerful and feared crime families in New York City extends beyond real-life events and seeps into the realm of pop culture. Their enduring presence can be seen in legendary films like The Godfather and Goodfellas, as well as groundbreaking TV series such as The Sopranos and CSI NY. In Francis Ford Coppola's influential film trilogy, The Godfather, we meet the character of Frank Pentangeli, played by Michael V. Gazzo, who is loosely based on a real-life Lucchese family member. Martin Scorsese's critically acclaimed Goodfellas brings to life Paul Cicero, portrayed by Paul Sorvino, drawing inspiration from Lucchese family boss Paul Vario. The Lucchese family's appearance in HBO's The Sopranos and various episodes of CSI NY adds layers of intrigue and danger to the narratives, capturing the captivating world of organized crime and the intricate dynamics within criminal organizations. Their major crimes have undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the city's history and continue to shape the criminal landscape for generations to come. The Gambino crime family. The Gambino crime family, one of the most notorious Italian-American mafia families, has a long-standing history of ruling the streets of New York City. In 2023, their grip on power remains unyielding as they continue to dominate the criminal underworld. From their humble beginnings in the early 1900s to their rise under the leadership of Carlo Gambino in the 1960s, the Gambino family has built an empire based on labor and construction racketeering, gambling, loan sharking, extortion, and more. The Gambino crime family has built its empire on a wide range of criminal activities and operations that have allowed them to amass immense wealth and power. From labor and construction racketeering to gambling, loan sharking, extortion, and drug trafficking, the family has left an indelible mark on the criminal underworld. One of the primary sources of income for the Gambino family is labor and construction racketeering. They have infiltrated labor unions and used their influence to control the construction industry, ensuring that they receive a cut of every major construction project in their territories. Through extortion and threats of violence, they have been able to secure lucrative contracts and force businesses to pay protection money. In addition to labor and construction racketeering, the Gambino family has a strong presence in the gambling industry. They operate illegal gambling operations, including sports betting, card games, and casinos, which generate significant profits. These operations are often run in secret locations and are protected by the family's network of associates. Loan sharking is another major source of income for the Gambino family. They provide high-interest loans to individuals and businesses who are unable to secure traditional financing. Failure to repay these loans often results in violent consequences, as the family enforces their debts through intimidation and physical harm. Extortion is a common practice for the Gambino family, as they use threats and violence to extract money from businesses and individuals. They target a wide range of industries, including construction, restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. Those who refuse to pay or cooperate often face severe consequences, including property damage, physical harm, or or even death. The Gambino family has also been heavily involved in drug trafficking, particularly the distribution of narcotics such as cocaine and heroin. They have established a vast network of suppliers, distributors, and street-level dealers to ensure a steady flow of drugs into their territories. The profits from drug trafficking have allowed the family to expand their criminal operations and maintain their power. Prostitution and human trafficking are also part of the Gambino family's criminal portfolio. They control and exploit sex workers, forcing them into a life of servitude and profiting from their exploitation. Fraud and white-collar crimes are not foreign to the Gambino family either. They engage in schemes such as insurance fraud, credit card fraud, and embezzlement to further enrich themselves. These crimes often involve the manipulation of legitimate businesses and financial institutions to deceive and defraud unsuspecting victims. Hijacking and fencing are additional criminal activities in which the Gambino family has been involved. They have targeted and stolen valuable goods, including vehicles, electronics, and high-end merchandise, which they then sell on the black market. These operations require a network of skilled criminals who can quickly move and sell stolen goods. But they didn't start now. They have a rich and complex history that dates back to the early 1900s. The family's origins can be traced to Salvatore Toto d'Aquila, who established a strong presence in New York City and laid the foundation for what would become one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. During the early years, the Gambino family operated under different names and went through several bosses before Carlo Gambino emerged as the leader in 1963. Carlo Gambino was a strategic and ruthless leader who orchestrated the murder of Albert Anastasia, the previous boss of the family, and took control of the organization. Under Gambino's reign, the family experienced unprecedented growth and power. One of the defining moments in the family's history was the Castellamarese War of 1931, a bloody conflict between rival mafia factions that resulted in the formation of the five families in New York City. The Gambino family was one of the five families that emerged from this war, solidifying their position as a dominant force in organized crime. During this time, the family's most prominent member was Albert Anastasia, who rose to infamy as the operating head of Murder Inc., a group of contract killers who carried out hits on behalf of the Mafia. Anastasia's brutal tactics and willingness to eliminate anyone who posed a threat to the family's interests earned him a fearsome reputation. Carlo Gambino's rise to power in 1963 marked a new era for the family. He was a shrewd and calculating leader who focused on expanding the family's operations and strengthening their influence. Gambino formed alliances with other crime families, such as the Lucchese and Genovese families, to consolidate power and increase their reach. Under Gambino's leadership, the family's criminal activities extended beyond New York City. They established territories in Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Baltimore, South Florida, Tampa, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and even Palermo, Sicily. The Gambino family became a formidable force in the world of organized crime, with a network of made members and associates that numbered in the hundreds. In 1976, Carlo Gambino appointed his brother-in-law, Paul Castellano, as the new boss of the family. Castellano's reign marked a shift in the family's operations, as he focused on white-collar crimes and expanding their legitimate business ventures. However, Castellano's leadership was cut short in 1985 when he was assassinated on the orders of John Gotti, a rising star within the family. Gotti, known as the Teflon Don, took over as the new boss and became a prominent figure in the media. His flamboyant personality and high-profile lifestyle made him a tabloid sensation. However, Gotti's reign was marred by constant scrutiny from law enforcement, and he was eventually convicted of various crimes, including murder and racketeering in 1992. Despite the setbacks and the conviction of high-ranking members, the Gambino family has managed to persevere and maintain its power and influence. They have continued to engage in various criminal enterprises, including labor and construction racketeering, gambling, loan sharking, extortion, money laundering, prostitution, fraud, hijacking, and fencing. Throughout their history, the Gambino family has been involved in numerous high-profile crimes and run-ins with the law, from the infamous Concrete Club case in the 1980s, which exposed their control over the construction industry, to the 2008 indictment that led to the arrest of 54 members and associates. The family has faced constant pressure from law enforcement. Despite the efforts of law enforcement to dismantle the family, the Gambino crime family remains a powerful force in the world of organized crime. They have adapted to changing circumstances, formed alliances with other criminal organizations, and maintained their grip on power. The Gambino family's history is a testament to their resilience and ability to navigate the treacherous world of organized crime. The Gambino family's criminal operations extend beyond the borders of New York City. They have established territories in Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Baltimore, South Florida, Tampa, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and even Palermo, Sicily. These territories serve as hubs for their criminal activities, allowing them to expand their influence influence and generate profits on a national and international scale. Thanks for watching. Click on the videos on the screen for similar content.